Hi guys, thanks for joining us. I hope the sound is not too bad. I'm just on the road at the moment, so I'm just in a hotel, looking for somewhere quiet where I can give a brief update. So, thank you all for bearing with us. And it is quite an exciting time for the project, as you guys know, um, based on what we've been saying, but not necessarily in terms of what you've seen yet. But that will be changing, thankfully, very soon. So, as those of you who have been in the chat, active in the chat, would know, we have been quite busy with a restructuring, a refocusing, and a revamping of the Cherry business setup and marketing position. And as part of the latter, that includes our web presence. So, at the moment, we're quite hard at work making sure that our web presence kind of reflects the direction that the project is going to go and has been being worked on, so to speak, or the way it has been worked on over the past couple of months. I would, for anybody who's unaware of what this means, I would refer you back to the previous AMA that I did and the one before that, which was the kind of basis for all of this, given by Harman, and actually the one before that as well. It touched on many different areas, but just to, I suppose, give you a 1 or 2 line summary, it involves um, totally paring back the Cherry, specifically the Cherry value proposition, to focus completely on storage, and then restructure some of the ancillary or ecosystem or supporting initiatives, and also introduce some enterprise level solutions, products that have actually been not internally, but I suppose privately on the market and privately given to enterprise partners, provided to enterprise partners in the past few months on a profitable basis, very importantly, which will now be used as part of our product mix, which means that essentially these tools, which are based on Cherry, use Cherry, use Cherry storage, etc., and the Cherry chain, will become part of our product offering. Obviously, this is a big change. I think a good way to put it would be that Cherry will focus less on being a network and more on being a storage solution. But that doesn't mean that the network aspects of the Cherry project will be abandoned. They won't. They'll just be reorganized into other areas. They'll be put under other, I wouldn't say necessarily brands, but they will essentially bundle these things together in a better way. And the reason for this is that there is a really, really promising opportunity in the storage space. I know that we have a competitive advantage in this regard, but I won't pretend to know the exact kind of analysis or the ins and outs of all that analysis. It's clear to me and probably to some of our community members, but most importantly to our founders. It's very clear that the ways that we can outmaneuver and outstrip the existing incumbents on the market, some of which have had tremendous success, and while we don't need to downplay their efforts and their progress, we think that we can do better, even as a relatively smaller project. In terms of Web3 and its business cases, storage is, aside from, of course, value transfer in the form of, let's say, Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, which would be the main use case. Storage is definitely up there with the most promising use cases of Web3. So I don't want to overstate or exaggerate the potential that Cherry, or the potential that the market offers to Cherry if we execute on it properly. But it is safe to say that it is one of the most promising areas of the Web3 space, which is quite large. If you were to combine the market cap of all these Web3 projects, it's very, very considerable. At this point, it's not, I wouldn't call it a large industry in the same way that electronics is, but it's a medium-sized industry on a global basis, which means it's worth quite a lot in economic terms. So all going well, fingers crossed, we can really attack one of the most promising and one of the most useful and business ready areas of or segments of the Web3 industry as a whole. So that's all well and good, but obviously we're here to talk about more specific things. We're here to talk about actual progress. I'm going to give you a brief, but hopefully instructive and useful discussion of, or it's not a discussion, update on what's been happening. Now, I would love if we could disclose more, but for two reasons. One, because some of these things aren't quite ready. Three reasons, actually. Second reason would be that these things are, the really big updates are far better explained by Herman himself. And for the third reason is that we don't want to kind of give the game away in some of the things we're doing until we're ready to pounce, so to speak. But for those three reasons, I can't really go into too much detail, but I will give you some concrete updates with regards to what's happening. So I have my notes here. With regards to the website, obviously a website update is not necessarily major news in and of itself, but it is quite important for the reasons that Herman outlined a couple of months ago in January, that the Cherry brand and Cherry brand assets and the brand value really needs to be shored up. It needs to be rebuilt and eventually expanded. We have quite a patient and supportive large investor or institutional investor group. We have quite a vibrant, quite an intelligent and quite supportive community. And this, of course, means, if for no other reason, that the web presence of Cherry needs to be at or better than the levels that our competitors are at. And a homepage will have to be the foundation of that. So the website is essentially, it's designed, it's built, it's just being executed in terms of getting it online, and the minor details in terms of wording and making it look nice and glossy. It's looking good. It is, as I said. I mean, I won't actually mention any competitors that we could compare our new website to, because that wouldn't necessarily be a very great idea. But I will say that if you look in the past, let's say 12 months, especially in the past 6 months, you have a tremendous amount of Web3 companies have updated and kind of revitalized their websites in a particular trend. Our website will be on trend in that regard. I'll describe it. I won't give any screenshots right now, because I want to make sure that we're releasing the right stuff. I'll actually leave that to Herman to do or to sign off on. But what it involves is a much sleeker and much more angular, kind of lean, and I would say assertive web page. It is much more minimalistic, and I'm not trying to get too poetic about this, but what way would you describe it? Sleek, I suppose, is the word to put it. It's much sleeker than our previous website, which at the time was on trend, was more sunny and stuff like that. This is more sleek, that's, I would say, is the best way to put it. And we have, more importantly, regardless of the aesthetics of the website, we have totally recalibrated our messaging to really focus on storage, and specifically what Cherry Storage does and we've downplayed some aspects of the wider Cherry project, as I mentioned at the start of this call, which won't go anywhere. Well, they will go somewhere, but they won't be abandoned. They will be incorporated into some other aspects of our web presence. So what else do I want to say about the website? Um, yeah, it is similar, if not better, we hope, to some of our leading competitors. It's pared back, and yeah, as I said, it's in keeping with the recalculated business position that we have. Um, Most interestingly, I would say, is the fact that when the website launches, I won't give you a firm time in terms of the website launch. I would guess within a couple of weeks is when I would say that the website will fully launch. It is contingent on a couple of factors that are in our control and some that aren't necessarily in our control, such as probably the most interesting aspect of the website is that the additional kind of product features that Herman mentioned a few weeks ago, product features, not product features, actual products that will allow you to use the Cherry chain, use the Cherry storage module um, straight away from launch in various different ways, not just in one specific kind of token way, but like actually interesting ways that you should actually look forward to. These things are like good for productivity. They allow new things to be done in ways that you can't really do with Web3 at the moment. That will be part of the website. So that will be there. So when you log on, or not log on, when you visit the website when it's announced, when we launch, there will be things that you immediately get stuck into using the Cherry chain. Now, I'm not going to make any commitments in that regard. I don't know if it was necessarily a good reason, or it was a good thing to say that, but I thought it'd be nice to share that with you. But it will be interesting, and it will show a new side of the project that has been publicly dormant, but privately very, very active. And these things, as I said, are economically viable already. They may not, in their public form, draw too much revenue to the company, to the project. But the point is that now these things are revenue generating, and they have been used by large customers already. And that's very important in Web3 because there's quite a lot of big promises made about, roadmap 2 years down the road, we're going to be partnering with all these people, and we're going to have 10 billion users and stuff. But until you actually show or prove that, hey, these are products that are already working, then it's not really worth as much. That is, of course, something you will know is what investors, like large investors, VCs and stuff, they look for very, very, very quickly. To any entrepreneur, they say, well, if you can show me something that's working, that you have customers paying for already, then you've already made the business case for it. So I think that's going to be quite promising for the community. So the website's looking good. I hope to have an idea of when it will be released, but as I said, if this is a case where the developers and designers are actively making what we have planned. Now, of course, these things can often take longer than expected, but I'm hoping that within a couple of weeks we'll have that out. Now, I'm opening myself to correction and to be overruled by Harman, for example, if he thinks that's one way or another not accurate, then that's my thoughts. But that's the way I see it now. And well, obviously we want to get moving on these things as soon as possible because we have a lot of cool things coming in the pipeline. And the sooner we get these things out, the sooner we can move on to newer and more interesting stuff as well. The development focus, as I said, is primarily on the storage solution, in keeping with everything we said above. That kind of addresses with regards to the lead of the update that I wanted to give. Aside from that, if anyone hasn't been in touch with regards to XP Market, the XP Market sale that occurred on Seedling some time ago, I've been in touch with all the people who participated in that to resolve the issue to their satisfaction. I'm pretty sure everyone has now made contact with me. That should be wrapped up and resolved by the end of the week. So we're not delaying with that. We'll push on and get that sorted for you guys as soon as possible. And I think everybody will be reasonably satisfied with the way it was resolved. And on top of that, seedling. I've had questions from seedling members and seedling community members about seedling, and seedling is and will continue to be the native launchpad of the Cherry project, the Cherry network, and it will continue to, have if the timing for some of the excellent work that Diego did was probably not very fortuitous, insofar as the market downturn came when a lot of the interesting things that he wanted to do with Seedling um, were kind of getting off the ground. But we will continue to use Seedling as our native launchpad and continue to make sure that it was as on the innovative edge, on the innovative frontier of what launchpads offer to the Web3 ecosystem. So that would address, some of the questions that people have with regards to that. Another thing I briefly want to touch on, because I heard a couple of questions about it, is that, there are market activities that we've discussed in terms of, for example, and most importantly, the market making. And that is something that will be discussed most likely after the website gets launched. But we do have a plan in place for that as well. And okay, so the final thing I wanted to talk about, I said this would be a brief discussion, and it's probably gone too long already, so apologies for that. But with regards to the AMA that we'll probably have with Herman, I'm not sure exactly when that will happen. It's at Herman's discretion. He's very, very busy at the moment, because we've got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak. I'm hoping that it will be in short order. We'll have Herman kind of explaining some of the things in more detail that I've discussed, and other things as well that he has cooking, which will be very interesting for the community. So I said I'd try and keep it brief, so I'm going to sign off there. Apologies if the sound in the background has been quite bad. As I said, I had no real other venue to take the call, but we will certainly be liaising with any of the seeding people over the next couple of days. I hope to be able to get you some screenshots for the website within a few days, and then as soon as we have the website and the web positioning and the branding and the social media plan and all this kind of stuff, as soon as we have that fully ready to go, it's pretty much done. But as soon as it's fully ready to go, we will get that out to you immediately. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for your continued support and patience. Lots of interesting things coming up very soon. And yeah, thanks for joining me. So thanks, guys.